Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today it is another trying to fix video, and in this video we have this little Millennium Falcon Star Wars game. So I paid £7 for this on eBay. It was up for £4.20. I've had this a few times now. When I start watching an item, often then, within half an hour or an hour, I'll get an offer through for that item. So I think maybe if an item has been on for a while and nobody's shown any interest on it, when you watch it, I think a message must go to the seller, you know, trying to tempt the buyers by putting in a special offer. So they put it in at £3.50. So I've paid £7 in total for it. Even working, I don't think it would really be worth £7. But remember, I need items for videos, and I can't buy working items because then it wouldn't be a fix-it video. So basically, it just says here, Star Wars Millennium Falcon 1997, game not working, doesn't switch on, I've checked with new batteries, spares or repair. So let's pop some batteries in and let's see if we have the same problem that the seller had. So before even taking it apart, this is my thinking on this. Item that's not worth a lot of money, I think it's going to be one of two things. I think it's either going to be battery contacts from batteries that have been left in and have gone corroded, or I'm wondering if it's been dropped, and I'm wondering if the crystal has gone on the inside. Now for me, I'm hoping it's the crystal, because if it's just cleaning the batteries, then I'll be upset. Excellent, really pleased with that because the batteries look perfect, so that means it's going to be an interesting one. So let's pop these in here. Looks like it's working. Oh, mind you, hold on. On. Oh, okay. Well, I was about to be upset there, but look, it's not turning on. Let's hit that little ACL. I don't know what that means, but it looks like some sort of reset button. See what happens if I do that. Does it turn off? Oh, so look, it doesn't turn on or off. Right, let's hit that. Let's hold it down. It's really weird in this light because you can't always see those things. But with my eyes I can see that plainly. Oh, okay, see they're starting to fade away now. Let's turn it on again. No. Right, let's pop the batteries out. That's interesting. So there's nothing there at all. So right now the screen's completely blank. Without pressing anything, let's see when it comes to life. There you go, as soon as you put that battery in it comes to life. It's not doing anything. And then slowly it starts to fade away again. Well, already that's something that's a little bit unusual, isn't it? Let's try that again, just one battery. Yeah. It's very hard to see in this light because I've got so many lights on in this room for the filming. Let's take it apart. Let's see if we can see anything obvious on the inside. Okay, I've just noticed a missing screw here, so there's a possibility that it has been taken apart before. It looks like it's been glued here. That's annoying. Hold on. Let me prise that apart. There we go. No, it hasn't been glued, it was just where it was sat in the post. Right, so here we have it here. So we've got a speaker here. These are just for the controls, so it looks like this is the clever bit here. Right, immediately I can't see anything wrong. Oh, we've got one of these things again. Do you remember this thing here, this inductor thing? That I thought was a light on the Jacob Jensen alarm clock. I think I'm probably going to have to unsolder these wires here. Let's undo this. Right, everything feels a little bit rusty. There's just a little bit of, it's a little bit crunchy when I take it out, and you can see on my finger there. Looks ever so slightly rusty. Right, straight away I'm not hopeful now because there's not much to this. Wondering if it's a problem with the chip, because this is like a blob chip here. Alright, so what have we got? What have we got? Should we undo it all? Button contacts and stuff look pretty good. I just see something on the board here. I'm just going to look really closely at it. Right, that's nothing there. That's just a bit of paint or glue or something like that. It does look like these are slightly oxidized, but it's not bad. You can just see a little bit there. Maybe I could try cleaning them. It just doesn't look to be anything obviously wrong with it as far as I can see. You can see what I mean by the little bit of rust. But maybe the screws have just had some reaction with the circuit board or something. I don't know how, unless... I'm not too sure. I don't know, you can even see here there's just tiny little bits of rust. So I suppose the first thing I should do is just clean it with IPA, but I can't actually see anything obviously wrong there. I can't see any crystal here at all. I see inductor, transistor maybe, a couple of resistors, another resistor, capacitor, maybe there's that small little ceramic capacitor. I don't know. It doesn't look bad. I suppose first thing to do is just to clean the contacts and then put it back on, just in case what we're seeing on the screen there. Well, saying that, it's not going to be that, because there'd be some sort of sound, wouldn't there? If it was working, there would be some bit of sound. And then I suppose after I clean it, what I could do is, can you see I've got the on key here? So maybe I could go across the contacts, that one there, K4 or whatever it is, and on. Maybe I could go across them, put the tone through, see where they're coming up on here, and then I might be able to trace them through. Let me clean it first of all. And that's a little zebra connector that connects the LCD to the slightly oxidized contacts on the board here. I'm just using a bit of IPA to do the cleaning. Let's just go to the on. Where's it gone now? On key. Just press that. And let's see what's happening here now. Nothing, just the same as before. Right, so there's nothing to do with cleaning it, which I didn't think it was going to be, but it was the easiest thing to do. Right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to unsolder the components, because I can't see anything wrong with the solder joints, I can't see anything wrong with the tracks or anything, can't see any damage anywhere. So I'm going to unsolder the components one by one and put them on my component tester and see if any of them are showing up as faulty. See, if there's a problem with the chip, there's nothing that can be done about that. So before even taking it apart, this is my yeah, can't see any obvious damage or anything. Let's have a look at the components. So I suppose the thing to start with is the capacitor, because that's going to be the thing that's most likely to fail. Well, and luckily they've labelled up on the board what's positive and negative. Right, so this capacitor is supposed to be 10 microfarad, 25 volts. So let's just see what the capacitance is. Okay, so you can see there that that is okay, 9.6. Yeah, so it's pretty close. Right, so it's not the capacitor. I might as well leave that out for the time being. I suppose I could do an ESR check on it. Right, it says good if capacitance is less than 47 UF, which it is because we are, what did I say, 10 microfarad? Yeah, 10. And if I was to go down here, 25 volts, 10 microfarad, it should be, this is worst case scenario, it should be 5.3, and we're at 1.42. So it's this capacitor is definitely okay. There's no point in me changing that. So now I'm going to go across the others as well. I suppose the next thing to check would be this inductor. Let's unsolder the inductor. Now I'm presuming because this is just a coil, it doesn't matter which way around it goes. But just in case it does, I'm going to just put a little mark on one side and mark the circuit board. I'm sure it doesn't, but just for my own peace of mind. Just going to get a Sharpie and I'm just going to put a mark on this side here and then just a little dot here. Then I know that it's going to go that way round. Oh. Okay, now did I add too much heat to that? But look, the leg's been left behind. Can you see the leg here? Maybe that's what the problem was. I don't think I added excessive heat there. Can you see the leg there has come out? Or that could have been me forcing it, but I thought that side looked pretty loose. Okay, well we'll open this up, we'll see what it looks like on the inside. Do you know what, that could have been me yanking it out, you see? Now with inductors, I wonder, are they all the same? Or do they have different ratings? I mean, I can't see anything written on this one. Stabbed myself. Ugh. Annoying. Where was I? Right now. Let me get a plaster because that's just going to keep on weeping. Right, so here it is with the lead going up. Do you know what? I would say it was probably I say that was probably me that damaged that, trying to take it off. I'm trying to think, would that really go faulty even if it was dropped? I think it's probably unlikely. Yeah. So, I mean, it looks like there's glue and stuff. So maybe, I mean, can this be fixed? Do you know what I might do? I might just have a very close look through a microscope. I'm wondering, see, the leads go up the middle, but do the leads go up the middle just for strength? Obviously, if this is connected to the leads on the inside, I can't fix it. But let's say now, if it's just that tiny wire there that's connected to the lead on the outside and then covered over with this kind of glue, then that would be repairable. So I'm going to have a look through the microscope on this. Well, do you know, I don't even need to look through the microscope, because if you look here, you can see that there's a little wire coming down here, which must be feeding this one, and then there's another little wire down here which is just snapped there, so that must be feeding this one, and these legs must be just kind of like pressure fitted into here, or maybe even moulded in with the plastic there, just to give it a little bit of strength, and then it's covered in the yellow plastic here to give the very, very thin wires a little bit of protection. So I'm going to see if I can just take this one off here, tap it onto here. If I can get a reading between here and here on my meter, then I know the wires are both connected, and then I can just put the wrapper back on it and maybe put a bit of super glue over this. think it's worth a try because I don't even know if this is faulty anyway. Obviously if this is faulty I can source a new inductor, but there's no point in buying a new inductor if the chip itself here is gone. So I'm just going to try to fix up what we have here already. Right, annoyingly the wire that's broke is the one on the inside of the coil, so it looks like the one here is on the outside, but this one here is on the inside, so I can't actually pull any slack out because it's got all the other wire wrapped on top of it. So I'm going to have to try and actually attach a new little wire onto that. Right, okay, that wasn't successful. So basically I thought I had it a couple of times, but then the little wire from here I just couldn't get to join onto here, and now it's snapped off completely and I can't get to it because it's behind there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take off the other components on here and I'm going to test them bit by bit. So I'm going to take off the transistor next, test it, and then I'll if everything's testing okay, then I'll get an inductor from something else. So maybe the Jacob Jensen thing. I haven't actually got any spare inductors, but I'm sure if I look around some of my old products, I'm sure I'll find one. Right, so this is an NPN transistor. Well, I mean, it's being recognised, and obviously I don't know whether it's still within range and something, but it's not. It doesn't look like it's shorted, so you've got the collector, the base and the emitter. So it looks like the transistor is okay. Haven't really got much left on here apart from resistors. I'm just going to measure those in circuit. Right, so that's 21 ohms. Again, I don't know the readings, but it's reading me something. 21 ohms. I haven't looked up the colour code yet. Ten kilo ohms. Right, that's in the mega ohms. I wonder whether that's... whether that should be reading that or not. Well, I suppose we come this far, we might as well unsolder these as well, and then we can get a proper reading and look online for the colour codes. So I've been looking online at the colour codes and everything like that, and to me it all looks to be okay. So that's tiny little ceramic cap, has 223 written on it. Should be 22 nanofarads. It's reading 25.7. I presume that's okay. It's not close, but at the same time it's not well off either, is it? This transistor is a C9014 transistor. It's supposed to be an NPN. Don't know how else to test that one. I presume that's going to be okay. Big resistor is red, black, black, gold. It should be 20 ohms, 5% tolerance, and it's reading 19.4. So that is within 5%, isn't it? Because that would be 1. You know, so that's going from 19 to 21. Small beige, brown, black, orange, gold. That's 10 kilo ohms, 5% tolerance. It's reading 10.22. So again, that's fine. And the blue small 5-band one, grey, red, black, orange, brown. 820 kilo ohms or kilo ohms, 1% tolerance. 831.6 kilo ohms it is actually reading. So, as far as I can see, it's all reading okay, and the big resistor is reading okay as well. So the only thing that isn't right is the inductor. But looking at this circuit here, and also remembering the Jacob Jensen one that I did, it looks like the inductor is just in between these two going off to this piezo buzzer here. So I think that that inductor is purely for the sound, and from memory, that's what did the alarm in the Jacob Jensen. So the very fact that this isn't turning on has got nothing to do with the inductor, because even if we take the inductor and speaker out, it should still turn on. We're just not going to have any sound. So I think that it is a problem with the blob chip. I've had a little close look here, and I got my hopes up at one stage because I've seen that this joint here looks bad. I'm going to zoom right in to show you, but when I get my multimeter, it is actually testing okay. Right, can you see this is a little jumper? There's a little jumper on this side here, and if you look here, it looks like there's a bad there. It looks like it's black here, and then that does go down off into the chip here. So I thought that it was going to be faulty here. Can you see it's kind of black around here? But yeah, I've got continuity between here and here, and more importantly, I've got it between here and a tiny bit of track here. So it's not, it doesn't look like that's it. So I think the problem is to do with something to do with the chip, which is annoying. But anyway, let me put it all back in, and you never know, if there was a bad connection, then that will solve that. At the same time, I will just tap every single other bit of solder to reflow it. Right, so that's everything back on apart from the inductor and the speaker down here. So now I'm just going to reflow everything on here. Right, let's put the batteries in and see if it's done anything different at all now. No, still just the same as before. It's weird how it does that and then doesn't do anything else. So now, what can it be? I mean, the inductor's out and the speaker's out and it's doing the same as it was before. So it's, I'm pretty sure it's not to do with the inductor. I'm almost certain it was me that broke that inductor when I took it out. So the only thing left is, everything's been reflowed. It looks like all the circuit board and stuff is okay. So the only thing left is the actual chip itself. But I suppose just for the purpose of the video, because I know I'm going to get comments about it, I have to check continuity between every single pin here and every single pin on the board, just in case it is that, but I'm almost certain it's not. Right, so there's definitely continuity between the pins and the pins here, but now I'm going to go for continuity between each of the pins and where they go to. Each of the pins and where they go to within reason. I might scrape a bit of the tracks back, but I obviously can't test into the chip. So I'm going to do the same on this side, and then I'm going to check each of them, and then that means there's definitely continuity everywhere that there's supposed to be. Right, unfortunately I have to give up on it, so I checked every single connector, that's all okay. Checked all the components, as far as I can see they're okay. Now I'm putting a lot of pressure on this here. I've undone the screws, I've undone the battery pack here, and I'm actually using my bench power supply. I've got 3 volts going into it. And the only time I get anything on the screen is when I give it power initially, and also very quickly when I turn it off. So as you can see, there's nothing there now. Now watch this. See, it comes on and then it will slowly fade away until there's nothing left. See, it's going slowly now, and now watch when I turn it off. Okay, well it didn't show it there, but every time I turn it on, look at that, it's done something different that time. It's done something different that time. That looks a lot different. Let's get the on button. Oh, I don't know. It's interesting now that it's coming up with different stuff, isn't it? I wonder, is it because I'm putting more pressure on it? Probably just me putting pressure on it at the back. Yeah, look, it's just, oh, there you go. It's just how hard I hold it, you see. So now look, that's, if I just put normal pressure on, you can see that it's straight across the middle like it was earlier. So all I can think is that it must be the chip. I mean, there's nothing I can do about that. Do you know what I'm tempted to, well, I'm tempted, but also I'm not tempted, because once I do this, it means that it will never work again. I am tempted just to try to heat up the chip just a little bit, just purely out of curiosity, just to finish off the video, really. I mean, I'm not going to change any components on it, but heating up the chip isn't going to do anything, is it? But I'll do it just in case. I mean, it's not going to be, even if it does work, it's only going to be a short-term thing, but it'd be nice just to see it kind of do something a little bit different. So let's just give it a little blast, just for 30 seconds or so. Right, let's try it now that it's warm. Well, that really is warm. I can still feel it's red hot now. Let's put some screws in that because it's too warm to touch. No, just the one thing. Okay, that's the Millennium Falcon down the bottom, isn't it? Right, now it says 0 score. Yeah, it doesn't do anything and it's fading off again. Just going to heat up the underside of it for a bit. No. Okay, I'll let it cool down and see if it does anything. Unfortunately, it is time for me to give up. So right now it's on, but it's not displaying anything. If I turn it off and back on again, it still doesn't display anything. Off and back on, still not doing anything. So since I heated the chip the second time, this time now it's not doing anything. But I can get it to display, but I need to just tap this little jumper here, JP4. And watch this, every time I tap that, can you see, it is now displaying. So I've got the Millennium Falcon down the bottom here. So it is doing something, and this really reminds me of that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, because every time I touched a crystal, it would display. And then when I changed the crystal over, it started to work. But as you've seen earlier, there is no crystal on here. So I'm wondering if there is some sort of timing, if there's a crystal thing built into the chip itself. I mean, I don't know if they can come that small or not, but I'm wondering if that's the thing that's gone. I mean, everything's pointing towards the chip being faulty. I've swapped the inductor over just with the one from the alarm clock. Again, completely different size, but this has got no markings, this has got no markings, so I don't know how you're supposed to tell what inductor to replace it with. If it's working, you can take a reading from it, that's fair enough, that might give you something, but otherwise, how are you supposed to know? I'm wondering, do all yellow sleeve ones, do they just need to be measured in diameter or something? Is that the answer? So you measure the diameter and then buy yourself a new one? I'm not too sure, or is it all to do with how much they're wound, how much resistance, you know, how much of the coil is in there or not. I don't know how you're supposed to tell when there's no markings on the board or the inductor how do you know what to replace it with? So that's slightly confusing. So yeah, I am going to give up because I'm almost certain the fault is with the chip here. If I'm proved wrong, fantastic, I'll do a revisit video. But everything else is testing okay. I've done all continuity everywhere, and I've taken all the components off and tested them. So the only other thing it can be is the chip. Now, even if it did turn out that, for example, the transistor was slightly out, which was causing it not to work, I think now, because I've heated up the chip twice, I don't think now this will ever work again, because the fault we've got now is different than before. Also, you can hear I have got audio when I have my fingers here, when I basically hit these resistors here, but look, it's not resembling any kind of sound. All it is vibration. Do you know what I mean? That's not music, is it? So I think it all points to the chip itself being faulty. So yeah, unfortunately it's a bit of a shame, but I tell you what, I'm happier now that it's not working because of something else rather than just having corroded battery terminals, because that would have bored me even though the game itself would have worked. I'm pleased it was something that wasn't that, because it gave me a chance to do a little bit of fault finding, get this out and test a few components and stuff. Also now I've got questions that need answering about the inductors, you know, how do you know which to replace it with? So more learning would have been done on that than just cleaning up the battery terminals. So yeah, I don't regret it. For me it was £7 well spent. Obviously videos are much better when you have something working at the end, but I don't think anybody could have got that working. But then again, I could be wrong, couldn't I? So if you know what's wrong with it, put it down in the comments. If you think it is definitely the chip, again, put it down in the comments, and then we'll know as more knowledgeable people come on and give their opinion. We will find out what the problem was. So that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more trying to fix videos. Take care and stay safe. See you soon. Bye now.